So we're gonna go back to where I dumped LaFonda tonight, or the other night. It's dried out now, so it'll be no big deal, but and of course, you know, in the dark, everything looks worse than it really is. It's probably like a 2-inch drop and I just freaking folded. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys a story tonight. If you can see over here, there's a pond. Do you guys see that pond right there? That's known, oh, ducks, as the Cove. The pond at the Cove. Now this is important because that pond right there that you're looking at, see how there's people out there fishing, having a good time? Well, I've got a story about this pond, much to my own embarrassment. My wife did not come from a family of hunters and fishers, okay? I kind of did. And when I got married to my wife, we had a little special thing where my grandpa, well, we had each of our grandparents say something about each of us. And my grandpa, the one thing I remember, now he was a farmer from central Utah, okay? So this guy, he didn't have a lot of words, but what he said was pretty much what he meant, you know? Sorry about the wind noise here, folks. It's windy up here. And he said in the front of all witnesses, everybody there at the reception, he said, "Son," now when he calls me son, that's because he was kind of my surrogate father. I would go down in the summers and work on the farm and go basically taking care of animals in the farm and changing sprinklers and stuff from the time I was just a little kid. So he was kind of like my surrogate dad in a way, and he said, "Son, there's one thing I want you to do." I said, "Okay, Dad," or not Dad, Grandpa, what's that? He says, "Now you go down, you get yourself, or get your wife, a fishing pole. And don't you go down to Walmart and buy yourself a fishing pole, one that's going to fall apart. You get her a nice fishing pole, one that she's going to be proud of. You take her fishing, you get her out on that lake or out on a stream somewhere, and you take that young woman of yours fishing." I'm like, "Okay, Grandpa, I'll do it." But you guys are going to think ill of me now. It's been 23 years and I still haven't bought that fishing pole. Okay, here we go. Y'all slam me for it, I know. I'm going to do it. I got to do it. I'm having a creep out here. Sorry, guys. I'm having a creep out from my creepy night story here. This is the same road. Anyway, off subject. So, I don't really do the fishing thing much, okay? Now, Rojo does all the time. He's good at it. I don't really know what I'm doing. And I have this little weird thing, okay? This weird thing is, I don't like fish slime on my hands. I don't like the smell of it. I don't like the feel of it. It just wigs me, okay? I'm weird. I'm a retard. I know. I just don't like it. And my wife's telling me, you know, we got to take our kids out so they can experience fishing sometime. And I'm like, "Honey, you know, I don't like that stuff on my hands." She says, "Well, it's okay. We can go together. We'll do it together. I'll help out and stuff." And I'm like, "Okay." So, Salt Lake County has this thing called Free Fishing Day. And I'm not going to buy a license because I'm not going to go fishing all the time, you know, but they have a free fishing day where one day out of the year you can take your family and you can go out there and fish. So she says, "Let's go up to the Cove, the pond I just showed you." And I'm like, "Well, okay, let's do it." So I go down and I drum up these old fishing poles that I have, and I found these salmon eggs that were probably like 15 years old from a scout camp or something when I was a kid. And I grabbed the most important thing that anyone can grab when they're fishing if they're like me. A box of gloves. Rubber gloves. Okay? So I get a box of gloves and we go out there. I've got the kids and they're kind of all excited. And my wife, we walk out of the car and that pond is lined end to end with solid people. I'm sure they planted it the night before. I saw they're pulling fish out of there that looked like they albino, spina bifida, crazy, nasty looking things. And I'm thinking, oh, this is bad. So I'm not even dressed right, and everybody's looking at me like this city boy. I'm in shorts and stuff, and everybody's got these jackets with all their fishing lures and their lines, these expensive fishing poles and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I do not fit here. I just do not fit. So I got to get ready. My kids are expecting to do it, you know, so I go ahead and I start putting on the gloves. Anyway, so I don the gloves, and as soon as I put those gloves on, oh, Rojo did the Rojo Run! Check it out! Oh, good job, Rojo! Look how deep that rut is. That's like a nasty old rut. Anyway, so, and see how nasty these are? That's where I turfed it, right there. All the ruts came together into one spot. Anyway, so I get the gloves on, everybody's staring at me. I'm thinking, oh geez, everybody's looking at me. And then I start working my way to get out these salmon eggs, and I open them up and I start gagging. And I like almost vomit. And my wife's looking at me. And she starts, look how deep that rut is, nasty. She starts laughing uncontrollably. She just can't stop laughing. Of course, people are really watching me now. They're paying attention to who's this guy over here with freaking gloves on to get the salmon eggs. So I'm like, okay, I'm already embarrassed. And you know, the more she laughed, I started getting a little angry. I'm thinking, I'm just embarrassing myself here. Good job, Braid. I'm kind of embarrassing myself. And pretty soon, everybody around the pond's all staring at me. I'm going, oh, I'm such a... I was so embarrassed. So my daughter, I throw the pole out for her, and she catches a fish right away, and I'm like, oh, no. I did not want to deal with that. I was just hoping, you know, we could have them have the experience, not have to catch anything. She reels this thing in, and it's this nasty, albino, patchy, spina bifida, curled up looking thing that I would never put in my mouth if it was the last thing on the planet. And I'm thinking, oh, geez. And it's very obvious that I'm not wanting to deal with this. And my wife looks over at me and she starts laughing again. And I'm like, oh. And everybody around the whole place is laughing at me. And I'm like, I just want to leave. I'm out. Okay, nasty ruts here. Let's see how he does. Good boy, right on. And I finally get the fish up there, and I look, and oh, geez, it swallowed the entire thing. It swallowed the entire freaking hook all the way down to the bottom. Good job, Raiden. Man, he's doing good. Look at these nasty ruts. These are the things I ate cheese in the other night, just so you know. And so I get out the tool to start digging this thing out. And I'm gagging, okay, because I got this tool and I'm putting it down in the throat of this fish, feeling bad for the thing, and I'm just freaking gagging. My wife's looking at me like, you are so bad. I'm just like, and then, because it looked like that's what the fish was doing, you know, it was still alive and stuff. And I'm like, oh, geez. About the time I'm dealing with that, my boy catches one. So I'm in the middle of putting these salmon eggs on the hooks, throwing them out there, trying to catch these nasty fish, gagging, almost throwing up. I got these gloves on, and I'm the spectacle of the whole entire pond, okay? And my wife is on the grass rolling in laughter. She can't even contain herself. She's laughing so hard. I'm so embarrassed. My face is red. Everybody's looking at me. I'm like, we gotta go. And my kid's like, no, let's stay. My daughter was catching fish. She was having fun. And I'm like, I'm out, you guys, I'm out. So I pack up all the stuff, and I've got like 4 or 5 of these nasty looking fish hanging from this Walmart string. And I'm like, what do I do with these things? I can't throw them in the garbage. I'm not gonna eat them. And my wife says, go see if somebody else wants them. And I said, will you go do it? I don't want to do it. I'm like, everybody's laughing at me. And she says, and she can't even talk. She's laughing so hard. She can't even talk. So finally I get the courage up to ask these people that are like 5 feet away from me. And I go over there and I said, sir, would you like these fish? I'm not really a fish lover. He just looked at me like, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, it was like very obvious. And I'm like thinking, please take these fish. And the guy says, oh, we love them. These are the best fish. Yeah, they're great in this pond. We'd love them. I says, oh, you can have them. He says, let me take them off the string for you. I says, no, keep the string. They're like $1 something from Walmart. Big old rock. So I'm walking out to the car. I've got this nasty smell on my hands, you know, from the gloves. I'm taking them off. My wife's rolling laughing. I'm saying, I am never, ever doing this again. And we've done it every year for the last 4 or 5 years. And my wife goes for one reason and one reason only, and that's to laugh. Laugh at me, try to catch fish with gloves on my hands. Way to go, Braden! Let's kill him. Hang for a minute. So there's my story. When I tell you about Free Fishing Day, you're going to know what it's going to be like for me. It's going to be embarrassing. Fun. We're coming back down. So for those of you that have made commitments to your deceased grandparents, don't be a loser like me. If your grandpa tells you go buy your wife a good nice fishing pole and take her fishing, you gotta do it, man. Yeah, I'm feeling kind of bad right now because he'd be rolling in his grave if he saw me donning a pair of gloves to get out the freaking nasty old fermented salmon eggs, to put them on a fishing hook. I only take my kids fishing once a freaking year. Oh, I got issues, folks. I must have some serious issues. I just put my face shield down. It's getting a little cool. So I think here in the next couple weeks, it's going to be Free Fishing Day again. Or next month anyway. I think it's in June. And to be honest, I'm hoping my wife forgets about it. I guarantee you one thing, I'm not going to say anything. If she figures it out and she makes me go, then I'll go do the same thing I do every year. And she'll laugh about it. Probably write about it in her journal or something about her weak sauce husband that has to put on a pair of gloves. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, what is the deal there? I mean, I can get my hands greasy all day long. I can dig my hands in the nastiest stuff when it comes to working on a car or a dirt bike or in the dirt. But you get that slimy, nasty fish smell stuff on me, and I'm telling you, I'm in trouble. I'm in real trouble. What a beautiful night, everybody. Doesn't get any better than this. Out riding in the sunset, in the dusk, a cool night, a few adventure bikes, just going out for a little quick adventure. I'm so glad to have my boy home and be able to spend a little time with him, just doing fun stuff, you know. So y'all have a good night, okay? Duff Factor out.